Hey everyone, thank you for watching. Today's video is going to be a new declutter, and by request, a lot of people have asked to see my blush collection and declutter. So this is my blush collection. I'm going to be going through it. I'm going to try to share swatches of everything since my blush collection is a little bit smaller than some of the other categories that I have in my makeup collection, and then share with you what I'm planning to keep around and what I'm going to declutter. I have started my declutter series. I'm trying to do a declutter at least once a week, so I will link my playlist down below if you want to see the categories that I have done so far, including my entire eyeshadow palette collection declutter. But if you want to see which blushes are going to stay with me and which are going to go, why don't we go ahead and get started. For my blush collection, I do have what I hope is all of my blushes in here. I've talked about it for a while, but I am reorganizing my offices. I actually just got my brand new desk put in last night, so I will have a vlog coming soon. And my collection has definitely, I've had to like switch things around and move things to different rooms as we've been putting up new furniture, but I scoured my collection and I believe that this is everything. And I do also have some new products in here. I don't always include new items in my declutter videos because if they're newer to me and I still need to review them, I'm obviously going to be keeping them. But again, because my blush collection is a little bit smaller, I decided to include new ones to me, including the Colourpop Sailor Moon. My e.l.f. blush is pretty new to me as well, and even my Charlotte Tilbury Cheek to Chic blushes, those are pretty new also. So I just wanted to try to include everything. Like I said, I'll go ahead and swatch as we go along the video as well, but I'm excited to do another declutter. So let's see, jumping off here, I have this one here from Ilia Beauty. So this is the Color Haze Multi Matte Pigment. Now this can actually be used as a cheek color or a lip product. This one is in the shade Waking Up. Now I do not prefer like cream or liquid products really in any category. You can see from here I only have two cream products, this one and the Colourpop blush stick, but I actually really do like this one from Ilia Beauty. So this is kind of the applicator on it, and I think that it's a really nice color. I think that it blends out really easily too. I usually just put some on the back of my hand like this, and then I pick it up with a damp sponge, and that is how I apply it. I do think that it's really nice though. Out of all of the like cream liquid blushes that I've tried, I think this one might be like a favorite formula of mine, so I'm definitely going to be keeping this one around, and I would recommend it also. Let's see, the other one that I mentioned, this one here is from Colourpop. So this is one of their blush sticks. This is in the shade Under Pressure. So I did get this one recently from Colourpop and, decided to give it a try. I will say that I don't think that these are my absolute favorite type of formula. I don't feel like they last as long. I think the Ilia Beauty does a really good job of lasting for a long time. You can see that this one is kind of like a pinky peachy shade. I don't, like again, I just don't really prefer the cream products, but I am also trying to keep some around in my collection. It can help, like I did a video recently using the Tati Beauty Blendful, and I was trying to use a lot of cream products. So for that reason, I try to keep around a couple. So I think I'm going to keep this one also kind of for those purposes. Sometimes as a YouTuber, there are certain products that I'm keeping because I either know I'm going to be mentioning them in a video down the line, or different things like that. So sometimes that can play into it a little bit. Okay, so to keep it moving, this one here is from Becca Cosmetics. This is in the shade Flowerchild. This is one of their mineral blushes, and I really, really like this blush shade. I think that it's really beautiful. It's a blush that I reach for often. I don't know how well I'm going to be doing at the whole swatching thing here, but honestly, like, I'll give it my best. I think that it's a really beautiful shade. It has a little bit of a glow to it, and I just think that it's really pretty. I think these blushes are being discontinued though, which is very sad. So it definitely makes me want to keep this around more as well and see how much use I can get out of it. I mean, honestly, I don't know if I've ever hit pan in a blush, and I don't know if it would ever happen, but maybe someday. Okay, so I have these two from Jouer. So these are the blush bouquets. I bought both of these myself. I have Adore and Coquette. Adore is one of my favorites. I talk about this blush bouquet all of the time. I wear it so much. Definitely like one of my most used blushes for sure. I like to mix the two together. That's how I find that I prefer it. And again, just like I said, just a total favorite of mine. The first one that I purchased was in Coquette, which is a little brighter. It's a little bit cool toned. I really wanted to purchase Adore, but it kept going out of stock and I was getting super frustrated. So I ended up just going ahead and purchasing this one. And I really don't reach for it very often. Not blush colors that I wear very often. And then especially because I love Adore so much, like Adore is just the one that I'm continually going back to. So Coquette really does not get used. I feel like I could pass this on to someone who's going to wear it a lot more than me. So I'm going to declutter Coquette and keep Adore. Next up, I see this one from Flower Beauty. This is the Flower Pots Powder Blush in Peach Primrose. I purchased this because a lot of people were really raving about these blushes in general. I was also hearing a lot about this shade in particular. It seemed like a lot of people had this shade and really did enjoy it. And it is a nice peachy blush, kind of like that peachy orangey shade there. I do think that these are really nice blushes. Honestly, I feel like Flower Beauty has kind of dropped off a little bit. I feel like I used to hear a lot more about them. A lot more about their new releases, and I'm just not seeing much at the moment. Do you guys feel kind of that same way? I'm not really sure what's going on there, but I definitely really did enjoy this blush at one time, but I really don't reach for it very often, and it's still so like, I mean, to even like look like this has been put a dent into is like barely there. So I feel okay passing this on to someone, even though I know that I've used it quite a bit, but you need such a small amount of product and it really does last for a long time. I also don't wear peach blushes often. Again, it's just not one of my kind of go-to blush colors. So I'm also going to go ahead and declutter this one. I do have two from Buxom Cosmetics. These are the primer infused blushes. So I have Seychelles right here, and then this one here is Dolly. Now this formula is fantastic. I highly recommend it. I know a lot of people really love this formula. I will say that Seychelles is just a favorite shade of mine. I mean, if you are not new to my channel, like you have heard me talk about Seychelles a ton. It's a beautiful nude blush, and that is what I would consider to be a favorite blush shade of mine. This other one here in Dolly, this is actually the first one that I tried, and this one is more of a mauve, kind of like this deeper mauve. It is a beautiful, like the swatch is beautiful. I think that it does look nice on, but I'm always, again, it kind of goes back to the Adore and Coquette. I'm always going for Seychelles. I mean, I very rarely use Dolly. It was the first one I tried, and I thought that I liked the formula, but especially with this color, it's kind of easier for me to go overboard with it. Whereas with Seychelles, I just feel like I could keep putting this on and it looks so natural and it looks so beautiful on me. So I very rarely am using Dolly. So I decided with these two that I am going to keep Seychelles. Of course, it's a favorite of mine, and then declutter Dolly. I just don't feel like I need both. So moving on, I have these two from Colourpop. These are my two single blushes. I do typically keep them in a magnetic palette with some of my Colourpop single shadows. These were in collaboration with Kathleen Lights. So we have Lunar Has It and then I Need Space. And I really do like both of these. I'm a fan of this formula from Colourpop. I do think that it is really nice. So this one here is the Lunar Has It. This shade I wasn't sure was going to be a favorite of mine, but I actually ended up really enjoying it. I feel like it was kind of my first favorite, and then I started using I Need Space more, and I was like, wait, I think I Need Space is actually a favorite of mine. I Need Space has a little bit of a glow to it also. I used to be someone who was very into matte blushes, and more these days I find myself really liking glowy ones also, or at least like having that option. And so I think that's why I like I Need Space a little bit more, but I really do like both of these. I continue to wear them quite a bit, so I'm going to keep them both. One to me that I do know that I want to keep around, this is from e.l.f. Cosmetics. So this is, I think it's called their primer infused blush as well, and it doesn't have, no, there it is. Always Cheeky is the name of this one. So a lot of people compare these to the Buxom. So I purchased this one in, I believe it was my most recent Ulta haul, and I have been giving it a shot to see what I think of it. The color doesn't like, it's not that I don't like the color, it's a little bit more peachy than I tend to prefer. Like I mentioned earlier, I don't wear the peachy blushes often, but it also has a little bit of pink to it. Right as I've been trying it, I don't think that it's as long lasting as the Buxom. The Buxom Primer Infused blushes are one of the more long lasting blushes that like really I've ever tried. But I do think that it's really nice, and especially for the price difference between the two, I can definitely see where people are coming from. This one to me is more matte though than the Buxom one also. Sometimes I feel like blushes are hard to swatch too, but I feel like this one is more matte, where I like the Buxom Seychelles because it's more glowy. But again, you know, it can be a nice option. So I am going to keep that one, and we'll be giving my full review hopefully shortly down the road. Okay, another drugstore one. This is from Milani. This is a newer blush to me as well. This is in Bellini. So Milani sent this over. I've been really curious to try out some of their new baked blushes. Of course, the baked blushes from Milani once had like a cult following on YouTube. I'm thinking Luminoso, of course. So this one is the Bella Bellini, and I'd been wanting to try this shade. I mean, wow, that is like a blush swatch. This one actually is kind of reminding me a little bit of Becca Flowerchild. Definitely not as much of a dupe as I was thinking. So this one here is the Milani, this is the Becca. I was thinking Becca had more orange in it, but really they don't seem very similar there. Okay, that's what I was curious about. So the Milani one, it's still a little bit newer to me. I don't think I'm going to end up absolutely loving this shade, which is a bummer. I don't think I am. It has a little bit of a nice glow to it also, but I'm going to keep it around because it is, again, it's a little bit newer to my collection. I haven't reviewed it, and I think I've only worn it like twice on my cheeks, but again, just trying to show you my collection as well. So I am going to keep the Bella Bellini from Milani. I felt like it was a little bit bright, especially for the swatches, so I'm filming in front of a window, so I just closed most of the blinds, so hopefully the lighting will be okay. Again, I don't normally do swatches in my declutters because I'm just trying to focus and get through it, but thought that I could do it for this one. Okay, so two of my newer blushes as well. These are from Colourpop, and these were in the Sailor Moon collaboration. So these are new. I don't know the names well enough yet. This one is Cat's Eye. I do have a video that went up recently with my thoughts on the Colourpop Sailor Moon collection and trying out like the eyeshadow palette. This one here is From the Moon. So I used Cat's Eye in that video, but this one is From the Moon. So you can see the two swatches there. I actually, looking at these, I mean, the packaging is super cute on all of them. Okay, let's be serious. This shade would definitely intimidate me. It kind of reminds me just a little bit of like what was in the Coquette, but even Cat's Eye did, but it looked really pretty on, and I got a lot of compliments on that one, and I did think that it looked really pretty on me. So I am going to be keeping both of these, especially since I just got them, but sharing those. All right, so moving on, I have this one from Hourglass. I've been kind of trying to decide been trying to decide what to do about this one. So this is in Ethereal Glow, so one of their ambient lighting blushes. I have had this one for a while, but I've talked a lot about how the Hourglass powders just don't really tend to be my favorite, and this one I don't think this is a very good match for my skin tone. I can probably see that like it's pretty light. I don't tend to notice a lot when I wear this one, but I do also have one of the ambient lighting palettes. It's the ambient lighting 4 unlocked palette or something like that. That has two blushes in there, and I tend to, if I'm going into that palette, you know, I can reach for the blushes in there. And again, with this one just not matching me the best, you know, perhaps I could pass it on to someone who's actually going to get some use out of it, because I just really don't think that it looks great on me. So I am gonna put this one in my declutter pile. All right, to keep it moving, I have this one from Cover FX. This is one of their monochromatic blush duos, and this is in Warm Honey. So you have a matte blush on one side and then the shimmer blush on the other. A pretty pigmented blush, so I have these swatches over here of the matte side and the shimmer side. It is pretty pigmented. Sometimes I just have to be a little bit careful, otherwise it can get a little bit too extreme. The shimmer side is almost just too, like, it's just kind of like too much for me. So a lot of times I'll either just use the matte side or I will mix them together, again, if I decide I want something a little bit more glowy, but I very often don't wear the shimmer side alone by itself. This was a pretty pricey duo. I would like to hang on to it for right now and try to get some more use out of it. This one here from Tarte, this is a mini Amazonian clay blush. This is in Parte. This was I believe it was a birthday gift one year at Sephora, and it is a really beautiful blush. It's just really nice and nude. It has a little bit of pink to it. Honestly, it's one of my favorite shades of blushes. I think that it's just totally beautiful. I once tried to hit pan on it. That clearly didn't happen. I'll probably have this blush forever, but I am going to keep this one. I really do like that shade. I have this one here from Ofra. This was in collaboration with Madison Miller, and this is their blush in Sweet Stuff. I also thought that this was a really pretty shade, and I did like the formula on it as well. So this one it's a little bit more pink, but almost like has a hint of mauve to it as well. I thought that it looked really pretty on, so I am going to keep this one from Madison and Ofra. Okay, I have two here from Maeve Cosmetics. So they are an indie brand. So we have their blushes here. We have I Can and I Will, and then Do It For You. I think I want to swatch both of these. I think I have an idea. I want to keep one and declutter one. I have a lot of favorite blushes that I tend to go into a lot. So that is I Can and I Will. And I like this formula. I would recommend it, and I think that it's nice, but I tend to reach for some of my other favorites more. Okay, so this one, okay, I didn't do a very good job swatching that one. So this one is more pinky over here. So that is Do It For You, and I prefer something a little bit more like nude. So I'm going to declutter Do It For You, and I'm going to keep I Can and I Will. So we are about finished here. So this one I have is from Dior. This is the Dior Skin Nude Luminizer Blush. Looks like it is in the shade 10, and I feel like I got this gifted from a subscriber, and I can remember opening it and being like, oh no, like this shade is totally not going to work on me, but it actually blends out a lot nicer than I thought it was going to. So again, you could see kind of like from my finger the first time that like it does look pretty intense. I do blend it out. I think that it blends out nicely. Again, I would say to use a light hand with this one, but it also has this really beautiful glow to it. You can hopefully see that from the swatch there. And I ended up liking this more than I thought I was going to on the first like glance opening it and thinking like, oh my goodness, is this gonna work for me? I do think that's pretty. You just have to be, you know, I just have to be a little bit careful, but this is a really nice gift. I do want to keep that one. This one was also gifted to me. This is from Ciate London. So super cute packaging on this one. And this is the Matchmaker blush. This was kind of interesting when I opened it because you have like quite a section, and then you have this like little area down here. And I was like, I wonder what that is about. And it's not easy for me to find these online, or at least this particular shade, I think it is. There's been a couple times that I've tried to link it and I couldn't find it the easiest. But again, really like it swatches really nice too. Again, it has a little glow to it also, and I do think it's really pretty. I like the packaging on it too, so I am going to keep that one. All right, we are down to the final three in my collection. I recently got these from Charlotte Tilbury, and I was so excited. I have a video where I have quite a few products that I got in PR, and I'm trying a bunch of them, including the Cheek to Chic blushes. These have been on my wish list for the longest time. They are very, very pricey blushes, but when I tried it for the first time, I was like, whoa. These are actually really incredible. So that first one is Pillow Talk, and this one is Pillow Talk Intense. I used Pillow Talk Intense in my video where I was trying the products out. This one, I mean, you can see that it is a little bit deeper. So Charlotte recently came out with some new products in the Pillow Talk line, and some of them, like even the lipsticks, they have the word intense after it. It just means that they're a little bit deeper or a little bit darker. I think Pillow Talk, especially right now, works really well on my skin tone, but I also thought the Pillow Talk Intense was beautiful on. You have the blush shade, and then the middle one is more of like a glowy shade. A lot of times I just kind of mix them together and go from there. But I thought that these were beautiful. It's kind of hard to just swatch the edges there, but it's like I'm kind of like trying to do my best to not mix them together. But that is the original Pillow Talk. These looked so good on, and they were so smooth and just easy to apply. I was really impressed. I know a lot of people speak highly of these, but I still was like, I just don't know if I want to spend the money on them. But wow, they are really, really beautiful. I think especially if you have a deeper skin tone, Pillow Talk Intense would work so well. Like, it's just, I was really surprised at how much I've been enjoying these. And I've been wearing Pillow Talk more at this time, but I am going to keep both, and whew, I was impressed by those. I really was. Okay, and then the last one that you see here is from The Balm. This is their Frat Boy blush, which looks like so. I've had this one for a while, and it's a nice blush. It's not an absolute favorite of mine. I don't reach for it a ton, but it is really nice and pigmented. It's kind of like a pinky nude, but like kind of like a deeper pink nude, I would say. It is the only blush that I have from The Balm, and honestly, I don't have a ton of products from The Balm, so I do want to go ahead and keep this around also. So that is everything for my blush collection with swatches and a declutter in there as well. Let me pull everything out and let's see how I did. So over here are the blushes that I'm keeping. I have 20 over here and then decluttering 5. So obviously not like the largest declutter that I've ever done, but that's why I wanted to show you my entire collection and do the swatches of everything. And keep in mind, for what I'm keeping, I think it's these 6, the Colourpop, the Charlotte, the Milani, and the e.l.f. Those are new blushes to me. Typically I won't even show them in my declutter videos, but I wanted to share my blush collection with you as well. So if you take those away, the remaining, 14, so it would have been like 14 and 5 if we were doing the declutters that way. So just something to keep in mind as well. And also that this is my collection, it's my makeup collection, and I want to keep what brings me joy. I want to keep my favorites, I want to keep what I love, and I also do want to keep what I plan to use in future videos and what I need to review and all of that. So make sure to just keep that in mind. But that is going to do it today for my blush collection and also a declutter. Please let me know what category you would like to see next. A lot of people were requesting blushes, specifically with swatches, so I hope that you were able to enjoy this video. If you did, make sure to give it a thumbs up. I hope that you also consider subscribing before you go, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.